A little bit of context as to what this project is. This is a remote observatory project that we are building in Central Texas. Basically, it's a building where the roof comes open every night and people can log in and use their telescopes remotely to capture images of the cosmos and deep space from dark skies wherever they live. The goal of this observatory is to make this type of astrophotography affordable and accessible for way more people than it ever has been before. That should clear up all the nerdy jargon I'm about to get into. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is an exciting observatory construction update because we have both of our roofs officially rolling now, as you can see. So we've got two actually usable remote observatories now. And beyond that, we've also got our fiber internet set up so I can finally post and upload from the observatory site and remote into my telescope in the corner. And life is just a lot better with that internet. But yeah, construction is going well. Now we're kind of at the point where we're just accepting people's telescope shipments and getting ready to install systems. So if you have a peer reserve, we invite you to ship your telescope. You can check our website for information about how to ship your telescope out here and where to ship it. So all that information should be covered. But yeah, tonight is gonna be a very exciting night. And the whole week should actually be good weather, which is gonna be a whole lot of fun. We're gonna be doing some spicy imaging tonight with the RASA here. So I've got a potential new supernova remnant to check tonight, as well as a potential planetary nebula to check. So we've got two potential new discoveries to go investigate. I don't know if either of them will pan out, but we're gonna go exploring together tonight at the observatory in the Bortle 1 skies. So either way, it should be fun. Okay, so let me give you a tour of the telescopes that are here already in building 1. We've got a Borg 107 here. Now this is my friend Ian Lauer's telescope. He's on YouTube. He has a bunch of great astrophotography videos. I recommend checking out his page if you don't know him already, but we're going to get this bad boy polar aligned tonight and shoot him a text and say his scope is ready to go. So hopefully that scope is going to be going tonight. In the back here, I've got my Red Cat 61, of course. You've already seen this telescope. I have a 183 mm on the back. And over here, we've got this. This is a RASA that I just got to take images from at the observatory to do some deep imagery at f2 from Bortle 1 skies. So I got a RASA 8, I got a 2600 MC Duo and a little photon cage. So should be a mean little setup for collecting light. Oh, and I've also got this cable router here. So I shouldn't get any diffraction spikes, fingers crossed. But yeah, it should be a fun little telescope to get a first light on. Walk out here and show you what we got in building numero dos. So here in the corner, we've got a ASCAR 140 APO. It's pretty giant. Over here, we've got an install for a client. We've got some cable work to do on it still, but yeah, this is a CDK 12.5 with the full frame camera on the back on a Paramount MX. Another nice little refractor on a CEM 70, which is looking good. We're also gonna get this system fine-tuned tonight. But yeah, those are the telescopes that we're gonna be running. So our building plan at the moment is this building over here. This is building 1, is gonna hold most, if not all, of the small telescopes. And then building 2 here is gonna host most of the larger systems. And then the back here is gonna be stacked with more of the smaller things. Part of our planning is to arrange all of the biggest systems in the north, and then we'll slowly bring the smaller systems to the south ends of the buildings. And that is because we want to minimize the amount of blockage each scope has with each other. You know, it wouldn't make sense to put this scope and have a little Red Cat 61 right here. Obviously it would block the entire sky. So if we arrange these guys running north-south, then we should have a nice viewing angle all around for everybody. Right now, our roof's back up about 16 feet past the south wall line, but we're actually going to be extending these further in about a month. I would really prefer to have a viewing angle that's more like 10 degrees over the southern hemisphere or the southern horizon. So we're gonna have the roofs pushed back next time the builders come out, so we can help get those low south elusive targets, which are always the most interesting. So yeah, that's the plan so far. Oh yeah, I should show you the roof control. So for roof control here, we're just doing the sky roof and the sky alert system. So this is going to automate our roof for closures and openings when it's cloudy and when it's clear, so that all of this will happen automatically, you know, if we're asleep or awake. And what you'll be able to do is essentially configure Nina to look at what's called our roof file, which our observatory servers will put out. And then your computer is actually going to know when the roof is open or closed, and you'll be able to automate aborting a sequence on an imaging run that way. So it'll all be hands-off automated with the roof, which will be very nice. If you've never seen the stars before in a place that is pristine and without light pollution, let alone not having done astrophotography from a place with no light pollution, you're really missing out. When you get out under skies like this, you really realize kind of how messed up society is, that this is all taken away from us, or most of us. It's a real shame that people don't get to see this every night, because people should see this every night. The world would probably be a better place if everyone could. Shooting from dark skies, what is it like? It's really, really, really awesome, I have to say. If you compare the difference in exposure time it takes to capture a photo from bortle 1 versus bortle 9, I think it's like a 20-hour or so difference. That is to say, an hour of exposure time out here is worth 20 in the middle of bortle 9. So shooting astrophotography from out here, a lot of the challenges and technical problems with capture settings and what gain do I use, what offset do I use, how long should my exposures be, blah, blah, blah. It all just kind of melts away, because most of those problems honestly become kind of null when you're in a pristine dark night sky. You could expose a long time, you could expose for a little time. There's almost no way to actually go ahead and screw up being able to shoot in conditions like this. To make the most of it in general, being out here means that you can expose for way longer than you normally could. I'll let you know why. We want to get the perfect exposure, that is one that's not too bright, where it's all washed out, and one that's not too dim, where we don't capture the signal from space. When you have the combined light of a billion different street lights washing out the night sky, all of that light is going to flood your sensor way more quickly than just this faint, dark starlight. When you're inside the city, you obviously can't expose for very long, because your exposure is just going to get washed out in your camera. But when you're out here under skies like this, there's nothing to wash out your exposure except for the starlight and perhaps air glow, which you can see right now in this Sony A7S video. There is actually a really powerful green air glow going on tonight, but this green air glow here is many thousands of times fainter than the light from street lights in a bright light polluted area. So there's really not much holding you back from taking ultra long exposures out here and revealing things that just aren't possible to do from in a city where most people live. Tonight and tomorrow night are set to be perfectly clear. As you can see, it is definitely perfectly clear out. And what I'm going to be doing is trying to see how deep we can go. I have a f2 telescope out here, and for those who don't know about focal ratios, focal ratio is basically how quickly your telescope can collect light. Something which has a small focal ratio collects light much more quickly than something with a large one, and it's an exponential relationship. So something at f2 may be like an order of magnitude faster than something at, say, f6. There's a huge advantage you have in having a fast instrument, and I got a Rasa 8-inch out here, which is a f2 telescope to try and see how far we can take these bortle 1 skies, what kind of stuff we can see. My main subject for this evening has been around this bright orange star here. And this bright orange star is called Antares. So if you're ever looking for this nebula from dark skies, you just find the Milky Way bulge, then follow the dark doodad up, and this dark cloud of soot and dust will lead you straight to this little cluster of nebulosity. Now this is called Rho Ophiuci, and Rho Ophiuci is a dense collection of stars, dust, and nebulae, forming what's called a molecular complex. So this is just a big jumbled up complex region in space with star formation, dust, reflection nebula, globular clusters. There's a whole lot of stuff happening right here. And it all comes together to make probably one of the most visually beautiful parts of the entire night sky. I don't think you could ask anyone who does astronomy or astrophotography to name a more pretty part of the sky. It's the best. You simply get everything and more in this one tiny little part of the sky. So it is the prime subject of my photography. The really interesting thing about Rho Ophiuci is the perspective of where it is. Okay, what we're looking at now is the Milky Way galaxy, but I framed it up so that we're oriented along the Milky Way itself. So right here, what we can see is the Milky Way core, and then we see the whole galactic band stretching out like so. It's a whole complex collection of dust, stars, nebulae, and a whole bunch of crazy stuff. But the interesting thing to note about the perspective is that Rho Ophiuci, what we're shooting right now tonight, this little star up here, this is actually one of the closest nebulas to Earth. It's only 400 something light years away. Meanwhile, all of the rest of this stuff in the galaxy itself is thousands to many thousands of light years away. So there's this whole layer of perspective difference that you really don't see visually or in photos, but just know that it's there. Needless to say, at this point, both of these observatories are ready and operational to start receiving telescopes. We've already got 2 customer telescopes, actually 3 customer telescopes installed already capturing images. So if you have a peer reserved and you want to start taking photos, go ahead and send us a telescope basically as soon as you can, because as you can see, there are some great sky conditions and they're just waiting to be captured. So now that we have 2 observatories ready and operational, I'm going to tell you about our plans for the future as we keep going with our construction and the rest of the business and the installs. So now with both of these 2 buildings done, in the next month, we are going to be installing customer systems at a very high rate. So there'll be a lot of work getting people's telescopes in. If you've already reserved a peer, then we recommend you ship as soon as possible, whenever it's convenient to you, because we're ready to receive your telescope and get it under the dark skies. So after the next month, this month, June, with customer installs, we are going to be having our builders back in July. And when they come back, they are going to be adding more buildings to the observatory. Now, the thing about doing remote observing at scale to make it affordable for people is the business model only functions at scale. And so we need a fair number of telescopes to be up and running and reserved here at the observatory to make it accessible for everyone. If you like doing astrophotography, if you are sending a telescope here, we definitely encourage you to post about the observatory, because I want to make this accessible for everyone. I would like to make the cost even lower than what it is here at some point. We can do that, it can be possible, but we just have to prove scale. So help us get some telescopes in here, spread the word, and then we can make observing and astrophotography from somewhere with dark skies a bit more possible for everyone. For people who don't have backyards, for people who have backyards with a ton of trees. Maybe you live in the middle of a city. Maybe you live in an apartment. Maybe you never use your telescope. You love astronomy, but you just can't do it. This is for all of those people who want to engage in this thing that we all love, but we just can't because we don't live in the place for it. So that's the inspiration, that's the mission, but we need the scale to make it happen. Spreading the word in any way helps. I'm trying the best I can, but if we could get, you know, hundreds of people in the next month, we will build the buildings for it. If the demand is there, we're building all of the observatories. So, all right, with that being said, let's go see what everyone else is currently shooting from the observatory. We'll go look around at some of the other scopes. 2 of them I don't believe are running, but we do have 2 others that are operational. So let's pop into building 2, see what's going on. We've got that JTW system in the corner. That one's not configured for imaging, so it's not doing anything right now. But this telescope, this is a customer telescope, and it is not being ran right now. Very sad. Anyways, this telescope has also got the right mind because this one is also working on Rho. I'm not the only one imaging Rho tonight because Rho is amazing. If you're gonna pick a first light image, like a real good first light deep sky image, it's really gotta be Rho, and there is no substitute for Rho. This is such a cool shot. I got this 2 nights ago. Beautiful. I love Corona Borealis here. See this beautiful crown of stars. This telescope is my friend Ian's, and he is going deep on Cygnus, non-stop Cygnus out here. I believe he's working currently on the Gamma Cygni Nebula, which is also called the Butterfly Nebula, which is also called the Satyr Nebula. It is like a very bright star-forming region in Cygnus that's cut through by like a thick, super thick dark band. It looks like the evil pupil in the Eye of Mordor. Here's my Rasa, like I said earlier, just banging away on Rho. I am gonna have to switch it over to something else in a second though. And then here in the back corner, it's also looking at the veil. This is my red cat. I thought for a second it was pointed at the ground. It is not. It is pointed straight up right now, straight to the veil, which is a supernova remnant in Cygnus. It is probably the brightest supernova remnant in the northern hemisphere, and it lives about like right there. You won't be able to pick it up through this Sony Live view, but it's a nice bright one. Definitely a good one to go for a first light. Here on the horizon, you can see lots of beautiful green air glow bands, and you can also see Cassiopeia and the Andromeda galaxy. Now I'm probably gonna start shooting the Andromeda galaxy in a second. I don't think I could refuse doing a little bit of Andromeda at this moment in time. So as soon as Rho gets low enough, we're gonna go to the Andromeda galaxy and we'll see what we can get done tonight and tomorrow night. We won't have much time before sunrise, maybe 3 hours, but man, I am excited to see what that would look like. I've shot as much Rho as I can for tonight with the Rasa at f2, which I feel really good about. Now it's time to visit one of the other classics, a personal favorite, the Andromeda galaxy, Messier 31. Go ahead and hit go to. Any second, Mr. Telescope. You can go whenever is convenient to you. Oh, meteor. There it goes. Now Andromeda is one of the brightest deep sky objects in the night sky, and shooting it from here at f2 with the big old telescope from Bortle 1 Skies, I don't see what could go wrong. I might accidentally burn a hole in my sensor with too much light though. I've stayed up super late. It's now 4 a.m. and I'm shooting probably some of the best Andromeda data that I've ever shot. There is the Andromeda galaxy right there in the middle of my frame. It's that tiny little smudge. This guy right here. I've got the big gun pointed straight at it. We're trying to soak up as much as we can before sunrise, and I think we'll probably be able to eke out maybe 20 or so frames, and it's going to be pretty nice. Bonuses of the dark sky. We can get stuff done pretty quickly out here with exposure time. About 4 a.m. Rho's about to go behind the roofs. I'm starting to crash hard. Tomorrow is going to be really amazing to edit this data from tonight. All right, guys, so the night is starting to wrap up here. We've got maybe 2 hours or so before sunrise. I pulled in basically the entire night on Rho with a little bit of M101 and a little bit of Andromeda galaxy to finish the evening off, but it's been great. Let's do it again tomorrow night. I'm going to, if you can't tell, I'm literally about to pass out. We will probably crash for 11 hours. I'll get up at 3 p.m. and then we're gonna do it all again tomorrow night. All right, so I'm here in my RV, and I was stacking my WR134 data from last night, and I noticed something kind of suspicious here in my O3 data. I noticed there's some weird filaments going on down here, and now I did a little search to double check what those were, and I could not really find anything or any other photos of them. So tonight we're going to adjust the framing, and maybe we will actually get a new supernova after all. And just so you know, these filaments are very suspect of a supernova remnant. So we're going to go hunting tonight. I'm just going to adjust my framing so that my field center is right there, and we're going to see what we get. Alright guys, some time has passed since I last filmed. First off, I have to say, please forgive me if my logic is not coherent because I haven't really slept for about 4 days. We've had a non-stop clear streak of like 4 or 5 days now, and I've been staying up until 4 to 6 a.m. every single morning, and I'm on the border of delirious psychosis, and I might get to meet the Hat Man if I stay out here for any longer. We've looked at a number of objects. I've done a lot of imaging. I did Andromeda, I did Rho. I have a little bit M101. I did Comet Atlas to Shuchi-Kan. I really don't know how to pronounce the Chinese name. I'm sorry. Yeah, we've done so much. And right now what I'm doing is WR134 in Cygnus. Now earlier today I noticed some weird filaments on the bottom end of my screen while I was editing, some nice little O3 filaments, and I cross-referenced some stuff and I didn't see any reference to them anywhere, and I also couldn't find any photos of them on Astrobin. I tried to film this vlog on the first really nice clear night we had in this streak, where I actually thought I would have 2 potential new objects. Both of them turned out to be nothing. That's what happens when you're hopeful, is usually you get burned in discovery work, and so I filmed a whole bunch of stuff that I'll never get to use. But, you know, we could get something nice tonight from the Rasa. You never know. I'm not going to stay hopeful because it usually leads to disappointment in the discovery world. But we're going to check and see what's there anyways because we're curious. So that's the plan right now. And we're going to keep imaging and see what we find. I'll probably have to update you on what I find in a later video. For now, I'm going to go ahead and do a little outro into the final images that we shot for this video. But yeah, this is just a nice little construction update, just to let you know the observatories are ready. The skies are nice and dark and waiting for y'all. So if you have a telescope, send one out. If you're looking for an affordable remote observatory, look no further. I'm out here just waiting for your telescope. So check the link in the description, and I'll catch you on the next one, and I hope you all enjoy these images. Peace.